Hello, my name is Stephen McLeod and I am from a company called Ockham, and we've been researching and implementing environmental systems for nearly 20 years. We see environmental data as the most complex data problem that we have in this world. It is far more complicated than business data, and it requires a new paradigm in how we deal with data. We had a conversation with Natasha Lewis and Tony Clark around a national pestweed information system, and Natasha suggested that we create a video of our thoughts to share with the rest of her team. The conversation came about because of the Space Invaders report indicating that we need a national pestweed database of exotic plants, but also MFE's own report from around about 2015, where it was stated that our country spends tens of millions of dollars on environmental data and it's fundamentally not fit for purpose, which we totally agree with. This video is going to look at the work we've been doing with Predator Free 2050 around implementing a predator control data standard and implementing that as a national information system. So we started with a set of source datasets from a variety of software vendors doing predator control. TrapNZ, CatchIT, Excel Spreadsheet, Ethos Environmental, and EcoTrack. And these datasets have all the problems that you would expect. The data is isolated, so we don't have a landscape view of what is happening. It's not just isolated from predator control viewpoint, but also from biodiversity, so we can't compare biosecurity with biodiversity. They all have different data structures. You'll be familiar with these problems. The biggest thing that we see is the data is designed for a very specific purpose. It's either GIS centric or it's project centric. It might be pest trap centric, and this limits the usability or the reusability of the data from a scientific viewpoint. Varying degrees of data quality, sometimes it's reliable, sometimes it's not. We often see a lack of referential integrity and a lack of normalization for first, second and third normal form. Names of things are made up, trap types, species, etc. There's also a lack of integration, not just with something very important like the New Zealand Organisms Registry, but also with other really valuable data like LINs, suburb definitions, territorial authority data. And we see an opportunity from a scientific viewpoint, for integrating the data with things like weather stations and that type of thing. And finally, it's limiting our ability to tell stories and to use the data, to unify the data and use the data to engage with communities, to motivate people to go out and not only do predator control, but to record the data accurately. So we took those source data sets and we imported them into the Ockham framework that we've specialized for environmental data and predator control data. And we unified them into a single system based on the PF 2050 data standard. So as we were importing the data, we made sure that it complied with the new data standard. And this is the outcome of that piece of work. It's a proof of concept. What we're doing here is proving that we can start with a data standard, We can build an information system around a data standard, and we can import data from multiple data sources, maintain its meaning, unify the data. And for me personally, this was a very, I don't look very happy, I don't know why, but this is a very happy and proud moment that accumulates 15 years of research and experimentation, where we have created the bones for a national predator control data set from which we can do storytelling and science, take into account operational matters, strategic matters, planning, all that type of stuff. We're currently working on a hypothetical future data set showing what predator control might look like over the next 30 years, and we're hoping to use this to engage communities in predator control, as well as develop a hypothetical scientific data set to iterate with scientists to work out exactly what sort of data we can create to help with the predator control effort. Okay, so what we've just demoed is what we think is the very first environmental data set in New Zealand to be created from multiple source systems based on an agreed data standard. The unifying of the data and the first map, that was just 1 week's work. And the hypothetical timeline map, that is just 2 weeks' work. So we can do these things at phenomenal speed. Everything is in place now to build the National Predator Control Information System. Whilst at Ockham we're doing the data work, I would like to acknowledge Ethos Environmental. We're collaborating with them. They are the GIS experts creating the maps. And thank you for watching this demonstration. I look forward to meeting you in person to discuss what could be achieved with a national pestweed information system. Cheers and goodbye.